I think I will stay here. I don't know if I will go abroad to study somewhere else, but on the long run, I really want to be here. When I started studying sociology, I said to my parents that I really want to learn about the problems of the Hungarian people because I understand this society and I understand the problems of them. And if I have the power to change something in the world, I think I really want to do it here. So yeah, on the long run, I think I will be here. And I hope that it's not will be the situation that I have to leave the country. And so I'm optimistic.
Uno tra gli aspetti più importanti della vita studentesca è sicuramente l'approccio comunitario. Durante gli anni dell'università infatti è possibile sperimentare diverse forme di vita democratica, sia all'interno delle case private, magari con i coinquilini e le coinquiline, e sia all'interno degli studentati. Ovviamente quando il costo degli affitti aumenta e in generale il costo della vita è sempre più alto, ecco, allora anche questo approccio comunitario viene impattato. In Ungheria fin dagli anni '80 gli studenti hanno cercato di portare avanti delle proposte di convivenza dal basso. Nello specifico si citano alcune di queste forme che sono nate all'interno degli studi universitari di stampo sociale, che hanno portato proprio quello spirito degli studi sociali all'interno della vita di tutti i giorni. Parliamo dei cosiddetti collegi autonomi per studi avanzati, luoghi in cui la quotidianità si basa su 3 pilastri: la comunità, la responsabilità sociale e la professionalità. Accanto alle lezioni si costruisce quindi un modello di vita attiva che si basa su dibattiti, compiti condivisi e insomma tutto quello che concerne una convivenza comunitaria in uno studentato. Con VD ho raggiunto Budapest per raccontarvi questo modello comunitario e le lotte dei movimenti per un'istruzione che sia davvero libera e di qualità. Ve lo raccontiamo in questa puntata di HeyMate, Students in Action Around Europe, una serie realizzata da VD in collaborazione con la rete di media europei Sfera Network. Un viaggio in 5 paesi per raccontare i volti e le storie della generazione che sta plasmando l'Europa del futuro. Ciao, mi trovo a Budapest e sto per andare a incontrare Otilia, una studentessa che alloggia nel Reich College for Advanced Studies. È una storica istituzione fondata su valori democratici che si basa su 3 pilastri: professionalità, comunità e responsabilità sociale. Hi Otilia, hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Otilia. I am 25 years old. I live here in Budapest in Reich College for Advanced Studies. I'm studying right now survey statistics and data analytics. And one day I really want to become a social scientist. When I started the university, there was the COVID, and I really felt alone when I went to the university, and I was searching for places with good communities, and I also wanted to learn more what I have to in the university. So some professional work I wanted to do with others. And then I found this place. Here are studying economists, social scientists, and business students. So I was really interested in data analytics, and I decided to go here. Our institution is built on 3 pillars. One of them is social responsibility, community, and professional work. And all of these pillars are built in a democratic way. So, for example, in our professional work, we decide which courses we want to organize and which courses we want to learn and from who we want to study. In a community pillar, I think it's the most important thing that we are living together, and we decide how we want to live together, in which room we want to live, and we organize for each other events where we can catch up and dance and so on. And in the social responsibility part, we are also organize events, and we are running a mentor program for students who are coming from high school and want to go to the Communist University. We have like little teams who are responsible for part of the part of the college. So we have one team for communication, one team for finances, one team for the professional work, and we have one team for the representative part of the college. So we are sitting every Monday here and discuss the topics which are connected to the college, and this team decide, for example, about the money, what we want to spend it for, or which events it will go. I am the head of the student board, so as we say, it's one of the most important representative role in the college. I run all these debates about the college, and I have the responsibility for the college, not in a legal way, because we have some directors who are helping us, but which is connected to the students and our everyday. I think this place is special because it was founded 55 years ago, and it was the first college for advanced studies in Hungary. And we have a lot of debates, which is about the situation of the Hungary, about the government, but we also want to take a professional perspective of it. But it's not the place where you do real political action. But we find some connections with other students through this network of colleges, and we want to do something action.
Prima di proseguire vi lascio qualche dato di contesto, così potete farvi un'idea dello stato dell'arte dell'istruzione in Ungheria e interpretare al meglio le immagini che vedrete. La percentuale di persone laureate in Ungheria è abbastanza bassa, poco più del 29% nella fascia 25-34 anni rispetto a una media dell'Unione Europea che si attesta sul 43%. In Ungheria l'11,7% degli studenti abbandona gli studi prima che sia finito il percorso, rispetto a una media dell'8,2% dell'Unione Europea. Inoltre, recentemente un report del relatore speciale dell'ONU per il diritto all'istruzione ha criticato il sistema educativo ungherese per l'assenza di personale specializzato e la continua repressione della comunità rom. I dati sono ancora più eloquenti se si pensa che l'Ungheria spende più della media europea in istruzione, ma i risultati stentano ad arrivare.
If they are asking me how I became an activist, it starts with this movement. It's called Tanítanék in Hungarian, which means in English, I would like to teach. So we are now here in our office. Our logo is an umbrella because when there was a first big demonstration, that was really rainy and everybody was with the umbrella, and just it seems that it's not so lucky day to do such a demonstration, but it was really successful. So that's why they decided to get this logo for the whole movement. It was like 10 years ago, so I was in the high school when it started. One of the teachers wrote a letter about the things which was not great in public education, and there were thousands of teachers who had signed this letter, and this is how it started. It was 2016. We are focusing on the public education, and there is a lot of problems with it, but it begins as a teachers' movement. So basically, it's their perspective to the education, and it's first of all it was their loan and how they work is in everyday life. So how much freedom they get. If they can decide what they teach or not, and it's also about the children to get good education. And there is big differences in the country, and big differences between institutions. So the quality of the education is also a problem because there are not enough teachers in Hungary. Because it's not so catchy to be a teacher anymore, and there's a big generation gap because there aren't new teachers, and also the segregation is a big problem in education. So these massive set of problems what we are fighting against. We want to have an education which is preparing the children for the future, and this is not what we saw right now. But it's also important to explain for everybody why it's important to have a better education and set this question to the agenda. So before this movement, I think in 2022 was the year when it was really on the heads that education is not supposed to be like this anymore. I think what was interesting that there were a lot of high school where students decided to join to this movement, and they had their own organizations. So there were a lot of organizations who were working together in these topics. So it's not like that we have one movement and everybody is part of it, and it's a lot of movements who are working together. And they had the feeling that we have an opportunity to change something. We are mainly working with teachers, so not directly with students, but we have quite a lot of seminars which is offered for free for the teachers who want to improve themselves and their teaching methods. And we have some connections with other organizations who are working with parents. We are trying to focus on everybody who are connected to the school. It's hard because there were a new law more than 1 year ago which was accepted, and this law changed the situation of the teachers. And there are some part of it we were fighting for. For example, they get more loan than they get before. So, for example, this is the one we can say that we are proud for. But in the other part of the law, it just got worse because there is a different system how they measure the teachers' work, and it's just much more worse than it was before. I think I will stay here. I don't know if I will go abroad to study somewhere else, but on the long run, I really want to be here. When I started studying sociology, I said to my parents that I really want to learn about the problems of the Hungarian people because I understand this society and I understand the problems of them. So, and if I have the power to change something in the world, I think I really want to do it here. So yeah, on the long run, I think I will be here, and I hope that it's not will be the situation that I have to leave the country. And so I'm optimistic.
Questa era la storia di Otilia che abbiamo raccontato sul campo a Budapest per la serie Hey Mate Students in Action Around Europe. Negli altri episodi sui nostri canali troverete le storie dei giovani volti del cambiamento sociale in Spagna, Grecia, Francia e Polonia. Ognuno di loro con le sue sfaccettature rappresenta un pezzo della comunità che come nuove generazioni europee vogliamo contribuire a costruire insieme. La serie Hey Mate è stata realizzata in collaborazione con Sfera Network, una rete di media europei per la quale da diversi anni con VD rappresentiamo l'Italia. Il progetto, che è promosso dalla Commissione europea, ci permette di raccontare al pubblico italiano le sfide sociali delle nuove generazioni europee con un approccio cross-border e internazionale. Se volete saperne di più trovate tutte le informazioni sui nostri canali, io invece vi saluto e ci vediamo alla prossima puntata.